Well. I think we got what we deserved in the end. This is the morning after the game before, and I spoke about it yesterday. I came out of that game yesterday very, very upset, very angry, because it means a lot. It does mean a lot to us. It's not our cup final, as as the Spurs fans would say, but it is a very important game in our calendar. We don't like to get beat by them lot, and they don't like to get beat by us. Simple as that. And we did get beat. We got beat pretty badly in the end. Um, weird games really, because I went in there starting lineup, and when I looked at it, I was glad Somerville was in, but the lack of a striker concerned me because I was thinking like, and I did say this a couple of days before about Jared Bowen, and I thought Jared Bowen's going to be put up front because the Fulkrug injury, blah 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 blah. And I said, and I said this a couple of days ago. I hope he isn't tempted to put Jared up front. Well, he didn't put Jared up front. He put Jared on the wing. He put Lucas Paquetá up front. Now, listen, and I know people are going to say that I'm fickle, and people are going to say that I'm fair weather and all that, but you have to react to what's in front of you. And Graham Potter last week, the introduction of Fernandes, I think it stifled Nottingham Forest a little bit. They didn't expect it. We still had the same midfield, Ward-Prowse and Souček. And I think it stifled them a little bit because there was a little bit more energy. He played off of the left because Somerville wasn't ready. And they didn't have as much, as much success on corners. Come into the Spurs game, now they've had a couple of weeks now to basically assess what we're going to do. But you get to a point when you're picking a team where you can pick a team. You're not trying to stifle it. You're trying to pick the best team that you can to go out there. And I think what Potter was trying to do is he was trying to shuffle it around so Spurs didn't know what to expect. I think that's what he got out of the Nottingham Forest game. They didn't know what to expect. So they was a bit confused. They was a bit, caught. But I cannot for the life of me. Defense was fine. Going with the same defense, but I cannot for the life of me why you would decide the way we ended the game last week with the players that was on the pitch last week, the movement of Callum Wilson, the fact that he gives us a different dimension as a striker. Somerville's pace was causing trouble with a proper striker up front. Lucas Paquetá playing in the 10, absolutely dominating, absolutely bossing the centre of midfield. Why he would decide then to take our best player that was by far man of the match last week and put him in a different position. And not only just put him in a different position, but then start pumping up balls like we're playing the centre forward. I cannot for the life of me fathom why Potter thought that was a good idea. I cannot. And I know, listen, people are going to say I'm fickle and all that, but as I say, you've got to give praise when it's due, and you've got to criticise when it's due. And the fact is this, right? Potter needs to be criticised every time he does something wrong. And it isn't an anomaly that he gets it wrong. It's an anomaly that he gets it right. It's an anomaly that Potter gets the system right. Because when he went into that Spurs game yesterday, listen, Spurs are a good side, right? They're a good side. But look what happened to them against Bournemouth last week. Bournemouth took it to them and absolutely dominated them. They're not invincible. And we went into the game at home against Tottenham like we were scared of them. You should never be scared to go for Tottenham. Never, ever, ever, ever. They're not invincible. They're beatable, as last week showed. They was piss poor last week. But I'm going to give Spurs praise. Yeah, they were good. They were good. They were a good organised side, right? We was a fucking shambles. We started off for the first 20 minutes. Okay, we was knocking the ball around nice, a little bit of confidence and all that. But it quickly became apparent with the chances that we had no one that was going to take a chance. Yeah, and we had a couple of chances straight at the goalkeeper, blah blah blah, and some of them you'd expect to do, but when we was getting into positions where we could swing it in the box, there's no striker in the box. There was nobody in the box. I see it time and time and time again. Diouf last week, crossing ability, brilliant. He's getting the ball in the positions where he could cross the ball. There's no one in there. They're trying to oof it up front, like Kilman and Mavropanos think they're fucking David Beckham-esque. the way they try and ping balls over the top. It just doesn't work. We have one way of playing and one way only, right? With that side that we've got there. It wasn't a fact, mate. You know, if he'd have played Lucas Paquetá as a false nine, but he'd worked on a system where that works and they was getting to the ball to the feet, you know, as Lucky said on the Crown Camps yesterday, back to goal, he's no good. When he's got his when he gets the ball in the midfield and he gets to spin out and turn and he can see everything that's in front of him and there's people in front of him, that is when Lucas Paquetá thrives. And he puts him in a position yesterday where he has absolutely no fucking chance of being able to do that. It was absolute fucking ridiculous the way he picked that side. It was absolutely ridiculous going into us, you know, after we'd finished the game so strongly, not to just go with that side. What were you thinking, Graham Potter? What were you thinking? And, you know, listen, as I said before, it wasn't like we was uncompetitive. The first 20 minutes, very, very fortunate to get away with that goal. Very fortunate to get away with a goal in the first half. But you get to half-time, you say, okay, all right, a couple of changes here, right? Because the midfield were getting overrun. Yeah, and you see it towards the end of the half where they was getting on top and they basically had us pinned in. The midfield couldn't get nowhere near them, which is the same criticism we have over and over and over again. There's no athleticism in the midfield. Ward-Prowse and Souček does not fucking work. Ward-Prowse and Rodriguez does not fucking work. Rodriguez and Souček does not fucking work. We've got Magassa on the bench. We've got Fernandez playing a bit further forward again in the 10. Absolutely fucking shambles. Absolute shambles. We was getting overrun. Now they scored a goal. Piss poor goal to concede from a corner. Swings it into the back post. Nowhere even anywhere near the player that headed the ball in. Nowhere near him. Keeper should have come. Keeper shouldn't have come. Who knows? You know what I mean? But in terms of marking, yeah, and I know that they've got, you know, blockers and all of that sort of stuff. But in terms of marking, nowhere even within fucking sight of him. Easy header, 1-0. Then we started to pick it up a little bit, and you think, hold on a minute, you know, we had a couple of strikes of goal ourselves, and then something so simple as ball coming down, Thomas Souček chests it down, red card all day long. The way he went in and lunged in, you can see, I think it was Xavi's socks, and how high the tear was in the socks. Absolutely no. You know, to be fair, it's fucking disgusting challenge, to be quite honest with you. And now Thomas Souček is not a player that's going to try and do that on purpose. It's just lack of ability. And he's stretching out to try and get his toe to the ball because he knew he'd fucked up. And that is all down to the fact that we've got players in the midfield that cannot fucking reach the ball. A missed touch. And so Tommy's a good, honest pro, and I like Tommy a lot. But you've got to start thinking, you know, what the fuck are we thinking with this fucking midfield? Why are we continuing to play? We've got Magassa, we've got Potts. Yeah. We need to start bringing in some youth because them two in the middle are just nowhere near it. Not only that, we finished the game still playing with James Ward-Prowse in the midfield by himself. I don't get it. And the thing that disgusts me is that you're 1-0 down. You get a you know, you get a goal put against you. Do you know you're a goal down, you get the red card against you, and then all of a sudden, about 20 seconds from the restart, ball over the top, simple ball. Player drifts in behind the goalkeeper, beyond the defender. Goalkeeper doesn't come. Looping header, 2-0. Easy, done, right? But then there's no fight from now. We've just conceded it. I cannot at home, yeah, 10 men or not, I don't care. At the end of the day, if you're putting in effort, I don't care from then, right? It's an uphill struggle anyway. But I don't care from then if you go on and lose 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, if you're fucking putting in effort. Goalkeeper's going to collect the ball when he's walking back to the thing. They just conceded. They just absolutely conceded. And that has got to be coming from the manager. Keep the score low now, boys. Keep the score low. You know, inevitably they get another third. Listen, I think they could have got a 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, maybe 9th if they hadn't took their foot off the gas because we was a fucking shambles from them and we'd absolutely given up. Managers, for me, has got to go. He's got to go. There is 2 very good managers out of work now. Listen, the board have fucking stitched us up something chronic with the money they spent and you know the players that we ain't got in. You know, Fulkrug was on the bench. I don't know how fit Fulkrug is. He didn't look fit when he played before he got into that injury on an international break. But the two centre forwards are a bad tackle away from spending a good amount of time on the sidelines. We've got no cover for anywhere. You can't change the defence. You can't change the midfield. You can't change the attack. We have got what we've got, and we need a manager now that can get the best of it. And that, my friends, is where Graham Potter is falling down, because he's not getting the best out of what he's got. He's putting players into positions that does not fit the system. Callum Wilson playing in the system yesterday, back to goal, that's where he thrives. It's not where Lucas Paquetá thrives. And I can't see how Wilson is not getting a start there. I can't see it. It's absolutely shambolic. Congratulations to Tottenham. They done the job, and they took their foot off the gas. And quite rightly, they beat us. And they was good winners. But this has got to get sorted out. The board have got to start looking at someone that can at least get the best out of what we've got, because we ain't got much else coming in, and there's not a lot to change it around. So you've got to get someone now that can at least get a tune out of the players we've got, because this could be a very long and hard season. That is 5 games, and apart from the Forest game, where I think we was fortunate to not concede at all, we've conceded 3, 5, 3, and 3. That's 3 goals in each of the games, at least. And that, my friends, is not good enough. And one of them was against Wolves, who many are saying are probably the worst team in the league. That, my friend, is a dangerous cocktail. If you don't change it now, I don't know when you can change it. But thank you very much to OK Shirts. You can click their link in the description down below for sponsoring this video. And we will be back later with post-match pint. But keep the faith, boys. And we're going to discuss it. We're going to pull it all down, and we're going to pick it apart a bit later on and have a proper discussion about what went wrong and what went right. But there we go. One thing left for us to say. Come on, you irons.